Hello, welcome to the next round of top 5 sleepers from this new Wilds of Eldraine set. So we got, like I said, we got 5. I got 3 honorable mentions, and I think this is going to be a very interesting video. We've got some interesting cards, of course, to talk about. Some cards that I think are just cool looking. Also, like, I think some of these cards that actually might have a decent impact in very niche archetypes, and as well as other decks that may have not been created yet. So I'm super hoping these cards do make a huge splash in Pioneer, but I'm kind of reserving myself right now because I'm not sure if any of these cards can shake up the fact that mono green is so dominant. So let's get into the top 5 sleepers and the 3 honorable mentions. So honorable mentions, we have Scowling Viper, which is a 1 in a red, 2/1. You know, whenever opponent casts a mana value 3 or less, deals 1 damage to that player. So it's kind of like an Eidolon effect, one-sided. It also has the ability of 1 in a blue, return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. So you can bounce your own thing. It is sorcery speed, which is kind of meh, but you know. The card I think is the most coolest out of all these cards is the Devouring Sugar Maw. I love the fact that it has Maw at the end. Even though I can't technically play this in my dinosaur deck, you know, I still hold a little bit of peace because it has the word Maw in it. It's two black, Minish Trample, and then if you get the beginning of upkeep, you get to sack an artifact, enchantment, token, which isn't that hard to do in a deck built around this. The instant adventure is 1 in a white. Create a 1/1 human token and a food token. So that's pretty reasonable for instant speed adventure. So I like the cost on the first half of this. And a 4 mana 6/6, you know, still can win games. So I don't know if it's that way if you want to put this over Shieldred, but I think it's wanting a very unique style deck. So this one might be something better for the new knight that cares about sacrificing artifacts. Or there's another card, I believe, that wants you to sacrifice, I think it was tokens or something like that. Something. And then we have a red cap Gutter Dweller as a 2 and red. 3/3 ETBs make 2 rats. They can't block. With he has menace. And whenever you're at the beginning of your upkeep, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on him. Exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. So it can make these rats become card advantage. I don't know how good that's going to be, but I think it's decent enough to make me want to try a potential rat / Rakdos deck. I'm probably going to try it out for Jank Tank, but I think this card is actually a pretty good contributor in that shell. I mean, like I said, a 4 mana 3/3 with 2 1/1s is not a bad rate overall. So that is my honorable mentions. Let's get into the top 5. Number 5 on my list is Belluna Grand Squall. Teamer 4/4 trample. Permanents spells you control that have adventure cost 1 less to cast. So it is a cost reducer. I think I want to try a couple copies of this in Teamer Adventures. So I'm going to try that out this season. And then, of course, the adventure is 2 in a Teamer, mill 7. Put all adventure cards that are milled into your hand. So I don't think it's very often you're gonna cast that in Pioneer. 5 mana is just too much, but I think a 3 mana 4/4 is still an okay enough rate, and it has upside that you can make your adventure creatures cost or your adventures cost less. Yeah, no, the permanent that has the adventure costs less. So it'd be reducing your Lovestruck Beast to a 2-drop, which is not bad. So I do like the fact that you can make your more aggressive threats that have adventure even more aggressive. So that's where I want to try them out. Let's get to number 4 on my list. Poland Shield Hair. 1 in a red, 1 in a white, 2/2. Creature tokens you control get +1/+1. So if there is ever a creature deck that is Selesnya, because most likely a token deck is going to be Selesnya. And then you also can pay a green Hair Rising. Target creature gets vigilance and +X/+X, where that's the number of creatures you control. So that's quite nice, again, especially against like a Wandering Emperor, where vigilance matters. And also, if you somehow have your token have trample, it makes a pretty resilient threat that also can, still stay back on defense. So I do like this card overall if you can get tokens to work in Pioneer, but is yet to be explored to the extent. I might also try this list out in Pioneer this season. If you want to see me play tokens again, let me know down in the comment section. Let's get to number 3 on my list. Number 3 sleeper on my list is Werefox Bodyguard. 1 in double white, 2/2 flash. When it ETBs, exile target non-fox until it leaves the battlefield. You may pay a colorless and a white, sacrifice him, and gain 2 life. So this is a combat trick, potentially. If you could, attack with a 3/2, they might double block it, or something like that. Attack with Shieldred, they might double block. You could just flash this thing in, eat one of them. It also can just, if they try to remove your threat, you could play Bodyguard, target it, eat it, block with Bodyguard, have it die, get your main threat back. So it's quite versatile. It's a knight, so I think that is where it's really going to shine, right? So knights kind of want to have a decent 3-drop removal spell. This could definitely perform that action. And we played knights last season, so definitely the sweeper protection threat that basically vanishes your board. Probably that can go to the sideboard, put this in the main board. And I think you'd be quite happy with the results of that exchange. So overall, I think this card can make a difference in Pioneer, just not in every deck, because there's still Skyclave Appetizers, there's still Brutal Cathar. So it has to be something that really wants the flexibility of protecting your threats. And maybe the knight is, like I said, is irrelevant, and the instant speed combat trick also could be quite relevant. So that is number 3 on our list. Let's get into number 2. Hornlock Whale. 4 and 2 blue. Flash War 2. If ETB is on your opponent's turn, it comes in play tapped. Now, what's great about this card is the Lagoon Breach. 1 in a blue. The owner of target attacking creature you don't control puts it on top of the top or bottom of their library. So if they put it on the bottom, it's kind of a 2-mana removal spell in blue, which is quite reasonable. If you have Lucky Charm or Clover, I think is the name, you can get 2 things, 3 things, depending on how many of those you have. Honestly, and then even though it may not look like it, but I think this having flash is still good, even though ETB's tapped, because your opponent still might want to play Wrath, Sunfall, something like that on their turn, and at their end step, you just flash this thing in, untap with a 6/6, start beating face. It's a whale, so it's a win-win for everyone. So I really think this card is actually pretty decent. And let's get into number 1 sleeper on my list. Number 1 on my list is Twinning Twins. 2 in blue, flying vigilance ward 1 as a 4/4. Now, where I think this card is actually quite interesting, I don't think it's going to show up like on fairies or nothing, but if there is like a blue-white blink deck, instead of having a normal blink spell, this is flexible. So it's a lot more flexible, and it's also quite relevant that it's not like an immediate, returns to the battlefield right away, which sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's good. Where it's good is if it's in response to your opponent having a sweeper, you exile your creature, it still has an exile while the sweeper resolves. So I think it's better to actually have it not come back right away, but come back in a little bit, right? So it's a better protection spell, forward removal, stuff like that. But it's also, still flexible enough where you can make your opponent creature get exiled and you can attack through something. It's also, like I said, it's also a blinks effect. So if there ever is going to be like a blink deck, this could be a decent card for it. And also where it could also see play is if there's ever like a Bant, if there's ever a Bant Dubious challenge, this could be a reasonable card for that as well. So you can get this off the Dubious challenge. It's a 4/4 for 4, not a terrible stat, but it also has a Swift Spiral. So you get exile the card that they take from the Dubious challenge, and you get it back, and then you could just cast a 4/4 flyer. Not too shabby. So I think this card could have potential in a few different strategies. That is our sweet sleeper list. Let me know down in the comment section if any of these cards interest you at all for Pioneer. And we still got a decent amount more to come for top X videos. We still got top 5 uncommons and commons from the set, top 15. And we also got of those and the top 15 of the rares and mythics. The set has a lot of uncommons and commons that I think could shake up the format a little bit and provide some new strategies out of it. So I'm super excited about going over those next. So until next time, hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Talk to you soon.